whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. I'm going to mute.
Okay. You want to look right over here if you could, John. Okay. Not that you can't look that way, but this is sort of directly on.
Okay.
All right. Your name for the record and spell your last name, if you will, please.
My name's John Edward Huhn, and my last name's spelled Huhn.
Okay. And John, we met on one prior occasion back in 2021. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Have we met any other times, either before that or since then?
No.
Okay. And you were here at that time to tell me a little bit about what happened to Otto on the day of the incident in question. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. What were you doing that day before you went for a walk?
It was a nice day. It was, and I stepped outside and I saw him on his front porch and we started talking and he was like, "You want to go for a walk for half an hour?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Okay. So you and Otto are sort of living in the same neighborhood?
He lives across the street.
Okay. And what's the address of where you live, John?
67 Layton Street.
Okay. And is it almost directly across the street from Otto?
It is directly.
And did you grow up on Layton Street?
I grew up on Blackstone Street, which is a couple blocks down.
Okay. How long have you lived on Layton?
Approximately 2016.
Okay. And when did Otto move into your knowledge? Before or after 16?
I'm going to say somewhere around that time frame.
Okay. So did you meet him soon after?
Well, I met him when he moved in.
Okay.
Just to say hi.
Okay. And so you've known him for about 5 years at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And describe your relationship with Otto.
It's a hi and goodbye kind of thing, and and maybe sometime we'll go for a walk here or there, like at Broadway Park.
Okay.
And just talk or whatever. But that's in the warmer months, and when it's colder out. I don't talk to him.
Right. Okay. And so you guys went for a walk on this day in question.
Yeah.
Do you have how was your recollection of that day?
It was just like a day like today. We were just walking.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, let's get some pizza or whatever. So we walked down the street, and we're on the street the whole time.
Okay. And you live in Layton Street is in what we call
Little City.
Little City. And did you walk sort of outside of Little City the back way to Tri-City Pizza? Is that where you were headed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we walked down Fountain and around.
Okay. Yeah. Down Fountain Street and around, and then onto Earl Avenue where this incident occurred.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just made like a big loop.
Okay. And you hadn't had your pizza yet when you were walking, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
That's where we were headed. Because
Okay.
it was where it happened was right, a stone's throw away.
From the Tri-City Pizza business.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you recall of that day, just prior to?
I hadn't talked to him. I just randomly came outside and was like, I had to get something out of my car or whatnot. And he was on his porch, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And it wasn't anything more than that. And he's like, "You want to go for a walk later?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." So, and then like an hour and a half later, we went for a walk.
Okay. In walking on Earl Avenue towards Tri-City Pizza, you would be on the left-hand side of the road?
Yeah, because the cars were so that way we could see them facing us.
Okay. And was there a sidewalk across the road from the house where this happened?
No.
Near where it happened?
No.
Okay. And were you guys walking in the street or on the grass?
No, we were on the street the whole time.
Okay. And do you recall when you first saw the dog in relation to where the property is?
It was around the garage area, running around.
Okay. And
I didn't think anything of it. I kept walking.
Okay. And was the dog on a leash when it was running around?
It had a leash on it, but it was off the leash. Like it got away from its owner.
Okay. So you believe there was the leash on the collar, but there was no human on the other end of the leash?
Correct.
Okay. And what was the dog doing?
We were just walking, and I looked around for a second, and so did Otto. And he didn't instigate it, and the thing jumped out of their property onto public property and bit his lip off.
Okay. And did you recall any conversation between you or Otto with the individual who owned the dog,
No,
Mr. Davis?
no,
Okay, you don't recall him reaching out to you guys or saying anything about the dog, or Otto or you saying anything to him about the dog?
I think everybody was in shock because there was so much blood and it happened so fast. Like I honestly, I just wanted a slice of pizza,
Right.
and I turned around. I didn't think anything of it because the dog was just around with its owner or whatever, and it ran. I guess it just ran up to Otto and jumped and bit him. And it wasn't anything more complicated. But we were never on his property when the attack occurred.
Okay, so your testimony is you were always in the public way in the street.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and as you're walking in the street, had you walked past the driveway to the
Yes,
residence? Okay,
yes.
and was it then lawn out front?
It was lawn out front to the left,
Okay,
but we were in the street the whole time.
okay. When the dog approached you and Otto, did where was Mr. Davis at that time, the presumed owner of the dog?
I think he was in shock also, and he was running towards us.
Okay, and describe exactly how the incident happened. Did the dog approach Otto? Did Otto bend down to touch the dog? How did that happen?
I believe he got his dog, and then Otto was kind of like in a daze and a shock, and so he sat down. That's the only time he was on their property was when he sat down after it happened. He sat down on the front of their lawn off the cross of the road there,
Okay,
and his lip was all ripped open and hanging there.
okay. But tell us precisely, to the extent you can recall, exactly where the dog was in relation to Otto, standing, sitting. We know they were in this. You're saying Otto was in the street at least. Where did the dog come from? Across the lawn, out the driveway? From there?
So the driveways. Okay, so say you're looking at the house here. Tri-Cities to your right. Their house is to the left. We were about, I'm going to say, 25 yards or whatever, right in the middle of their lawn. And that's when the dog ran up. And I think it was just excited or whatever. I don't know. But we were both in the street and we both kind of reacted. And I didn't think anything of it and just kept walking. And then it just attacked him.
Okay. Did you witness the attack?
Yes.
And tell us what that was like, what you saw.
Oh, it was just kind of shocking, traumatic. Because, I mean, it literally, the dog jumped like 6 feet and like right on his face.
When you say 6 feet, do you mean 6 feet vertically in the air or horizontally?
It was about 3 feet, 4 feet up. I mean, no, it was higher than that. So I'm going to say it jumped up like 5 feet. So I don't know, it was on its lawn and jumped into the road.
Okay. And was there any warning or barking before it jumped?
No, it looked excited and we both turned and I didn't think anything of it and I kept going and then we both kept walking and it got him on the lip.
Okay. And was Otto bending down to pet the dog or anything like
Not
that?
to pet it, no.
Okay. Was he bending down at all?
No, he just looked at it. He just turned to look at it.
Okay. And how would you describe the contact between the muzzle or nose of the dog and Otto's lip or face?
It happened so quick that
But would you describe it as bumping of the lip to the dog, or how would you describe how that contact was made? You said the dog leapt, right?
No, I mean the dog. I mean, it wasn't like he went to put his face in front of it.
Okay. Did Otto do anything to in any way provoke the dog?
No, we were just walking by, going to get some pizza.
Okay. And after Otto was bit, what happened next?
We sat him down on the lawn, and he was bleeding all over, and him and his family or whatever. Apparently, his mom or sister was a nurse or something, and um, so we wrapped him up in a towel, and I went and sat with him over at St. Joe's Hospital.
Okay. Did you observe him to be in any distressed state or pain?
Shock.
Shock?
Yeah.
And what else did he say to you while at the premises?
He was just kind of pasty white, and he just said, "Wow, I can't believe that just happened."
Okay. And what did you observe about what parts of his face had been bitten or chewed or whatever?
His upper lip.
And do you know what side of his upper lip?
To the right side.
Okay. What did it look like to you, John?
It looked like a flap of skin.
Okay. Did you see any meat of his lip or cheek or face?
Yeah, I mean, you could see how it could flip over. Yeah.
Okay, there was a piece of
Flesh.
Flesh. And how big was that piece of flesh that was it hanging and attached, or was it separated?
It was separated, but there was a 3-inch flap kind of deal, at least 2.5 inches.
Okay, from under you were motioning. We don't have video for this, but you were motioning like from underneath the right nostril over to the right side of the lip.
Yeah.
And this area where a mustache would be above the lip, would that be the area where the bite took place?
Correct.
Okay. And was it what we would call a through and through bite? Do you know if it pierced through from one side, from the topical side of the skin through into his mouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
It went all the way.
Describe the blood. Where was the blood?
The blood was on the street.
Okay. Was it puddling or pooling?
It was just spurting.
Okay. And what did Mr. Davis say, if anything, just after the dog bite?
It's never done this before.
Okay. And anything else you can recall that day while you guys were there?
Genuinely, I just think everybody was in shock, and that the dog did that. And like I said, we were just out for a walk to get some pizza and talk for a little bit. And I don't think he meant for his dog to attack Otto,
Right.
But it did.
Right. Okay. And you stayed with Otto at the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And after Otto was released, did you see where he had been stitched up and the plastic surgeon had done the work?
Yeah.
Did he go to Northern Light Health?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Did you go to Northern Light Health, or did you just go?
No, I went right during when his accident happened. We went right over to St. Joe's.
Okay. And then from St. Joe's, did you go over to Northern Light Health?
No.
Okay.
No.
But Otto did.
Otto did.
Right. And so when did you next see Otto?
Approximately a day or two when he got out of the hospital.
Okay. And what did he look like that day?
Really puffy and sore.
Okay. Any black and blue on his face, do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Under his eyes.
Under his eyes, right cheek area? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. And what else can you recall of what he looked like when he came back from the hospital?
Just tired.
Okay. Did Otto get emotional or tear up or cry at all during or around the incident, if you recall?
No, I think he went in more of survival mode. I think he was just in shock.
Okay. And when you saw him in the after he got back from the hospital and was sutured up, was he acting differently at all? Did you notice anything, or did he describe any pain to you, anything like that?
Insomnia.
Not sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay. What else did he tell you was an effect on him from the dog bite?
It just, I don't know whether he's a sensitive guy or whatnot, but it just seemed to affect him in a negative way.
Okay. Can you be a little more specific?
I feel that with Otto, I don't know, it really has affected him because he's come out in the mornings and brought it up and up and up about PTSD and things. And I think that Otto, the dog, it jumped out and it bit him in the face. And it wasn't any more complicated than that.
Right. Has he talked to you about it since then?
Yeah, he talks about it all the time.
Okay, and what does he say when he talks about it? Does he repeat the same things over and over, or does he?
No, it's consistent.
Okay, and what generally? Can you paraphrase for us what kinds of things he talks about?
Just the fact that this wasn't meant to like have an animal put down or like have anybody hurt. It was just the fact that we were walking on the street and the dog jumped up and bit him and ripped his lip off.
Right.
And I don't know what else you guys want me to tell you. Okay. I mean, I was just walking along and getting pizza.
Sure. How many times a week, on average, if you do see him weekly, would you see Otto? Would you have occasion to see him?
Hi and goodbye. So maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I live across the street.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not like we have these big conversations.
Okay. When's the last time he talked to you about his PTSD being aggravated or whatnot?
Not lately.
Okay. When was the last time? Do you know? Who mentioned it?
I don't know. We don't really talk about that stuff.
Have you seen him without his mustache and beard?
No. Actually, no. Not since he hides it now. Right. His scar.
Okay. Had you seen him before without a mustache or beard?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you notice any scarring before this incident at all on his face?
No.
Anything else you can recall about the incident at all that we haven't talked about today?
I genuinely I think it was an accident.
Right.
I really do. And I think it was unfortunate that it happened.
Okay.
But at the same time, the dog, we weren't on their property, and the dog did bite when it was on the street.
Is there anything else about the injury to Otto that you can recall that you haven't told us today?
There was just a lot of blood.
Okay. And about the aftermath, about how his behavior has changed, if at all?
He's become a lot more reclusive.
Have you noticed that specifically?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. I'm almost done.
Like even taking out the garbage in the morning on Thursdays. I'll say hi and stuff, but I mean, we don't really talk that much. He sticks to himself a lot.
Okay. More so than before?
Yeah, more so.
Okay. And you've noticed that?
Yeah. So.
And do you believe that it was a direct result, his being more, less social, being a direct result of having been attacked by the dog or bitten?
Well, I think
Next to foundation.
Yeah, I'll join in the objection.
Same objection. Well, I think it was a contributing factor.
Okay. That's all I have for Mr. Huhn, and I'll turn it over to which of the 3 attorneys